for domestic purposes. Today's World Water Day, and AYV looks at supply and access of this valuable liquid in Makani. Abasise has more on the story.
World Water Day is celebrated annually, and this day, among other things, is set aside to create awareness about the importance of fresh water. How access to potable water is in Makani. These are views we got from certain communities in the city.
Who can have us who can snap and say for water business. So they said if you're not strong like my baby, they will get water. But it's not bimbe because the line is take behind that. Can't stop now. So if I sit down for stay, I look at my own over the book before you get water. So water business money I this area.
Actually, they still forget water. Now this entire pump from this one great pump from now they will get water. And now we have to forget water. At times people they overdo, no they get water, pass to return and we roast them back.
Now they come off from they come off from Van Street or Congo some pass now they come off. Are they really staying for they can get any day?
Well we are thank God this school. Let us know. I they do all from Michael Street, Kuma Street, Derek Drive, Congo Town, and this one game pump we have up.
Ugia to Smart is using water supplied by Sierra Leone Water Company, Salwako. But according to her, she has gone for days without accessing this water facility.
Past close to a week now, Sarah could not be home. It really affects me greatly because me I sell pure water. The factory where they go there for water, I don't get access to water. They say because...
Not so yeah, they talk.
The other day, what they call it, they say 10 o'clock. That yesterday, they forgive water 10 o'clock. They not give at all.
What has affected the frequent supply of water by this national company? Engineer Emmanuel Fande Bayo is Northern Region Station Manager.
Managing Director, Guma Valley Water Company, Engineer Mada Penge, has said that the ongoing Freetown Wash and Aquatic Environmental Revamping Project will benefit 3,000 households with safe drinking water. He was speaking during a visit by the African Development Bank ADB delegation to the Angola water treatment plant to assess progress of the project, which is being funded by the bank. Yewajala reports.
The overall objective of the Freetown Wash Aquatic Environment Revamping Project is to improve the water supply and sanitation services while ensuring the sustainability of the vital aquatic ecosystem in Western Area Freetown. The specific objective of the project, amongst which are to rehabilitate and expand water treatment, transmission, storage, and the distribution system. Managing Director, Guma Valley Water Company, Engineer Mada Penge, says the project will benefit 3,000 households a day with safe drinking water.
The treatment plant is this one. We're collecting water. There's one intake point there, and there's another intake point behind the hill. So we bring the water here, treat it here, then we pipe it down to the clear water tank that we passed just down the road. We'll stop there briefly on our way down. Then we connect it into the distribution system, which has been completely done. This is about 3,000 households.
Project manager, contractor for the Freetown Wash Aquatic Environment Revamping Project, Lojaujin Chico, reaffirms the time frame set for the completion of the project.
For the treatment plants here, as you see, the main structure already finished. All the equipment already, later we go to down the houses, you can see the buildings, you can see the equipment already there. By the end of the April, that's when that one will be finished. So for the whole project, so the work is completed. Yeah, by end of April. So now.
Director of Engineering, Engineer Prince Maurice Sori, says they also intend to do another extension with the raw water reservoir to help support the water treatment plant.
It increased from 3 to 6 or 7. with the parallel system. But it has been designed based on the situation of the existing weirs. So if we have the raw water reservoir on this side, it means we'll be able to produce more than 3,000. But this present system will not be able to take more than 3,000.
The Freetown Wash Aquatic Environment Revamping Project covers the Greater Freetown area, the capital city of Sierra Leone. The project aims at contributing 15% increase in access to safe water supply and 7% increase in access to improved sanitation in Sierra Leone. A tour was taken by the delegation to see if the money spent has been effectively utilized for its intended purpose. Yero Jallo, AYV News, Freetown.
The Sierra Leone police has arrested 38-year-old Juliet Kamara, who is the wife of the alleged wealthy and notorious drug dealer Abdul Kamara, alias Bigitel of Mamba Ridge in the Moiba community in the east end of Freetown. The arrest was done earlier today during a raid conducted by the police at the east end of Freetown. Our reporter Miriam Amaria Bangura has the details.
The raid conducted by the Aba Police Division saw the arrest of 38-year-old Juliet Kamara, who is the wife of the alleged notorious wealthy drug lord Abdul Kamara, alias Bigitel of Mamba Ridge in Moiba community, the east end of Freetown. The move, according to the Sierra Leone police, was undertaken in a widely acclaimed crackdown on drug dealers countrywide. As the raid and search progressed, quantities of illicit drugs were seized from Juliet resident by the police. Operating a popular nightclub with 3 swimming pools, a resident, guest houses, and ghettos in a large and well-fortified estate, Juliet Kamara and 2 of her alleged sales agents, Maria Tukoma and Fatimata Bangura, who were camouflaged in Islamic abaya outfit, were taken away from their homes after intelligence was gathered about their involvement in an alleged organized criminal drug syndicate. Abdul Kamara, alias Bigitel, is said to be on remand at the Pademba Road Correctional Center for a series of alleged drug-related offenses. According to the Sierra Leone police, there is no sacred cow in the fight against drug abuse, particularly Kush, noting that no stone will be left unturned in the fight to end illicit drug trade in the country. Mariana Maria Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
Still on illegal drugs, the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, HRCSL, has sounded the alarm over the devastating impact of substance abuse, particularly the use of Kush, on the country's youth population. With mounting fatalities and undignified treatment of victims, the Commission has issued urgent recommendation to address the crisis. Victor Idris Alansana, the Vice Chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, speaks more in this interview with AYV. Elizabeth Momo reports.
The Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone's latest press release sheds light on the dire consequences of Kush consumption, particularly among young people who should be driving the nation's development. Disturbingly, the Human Rights Commission highlights the indignities faced by Kush victims, including undignified burials, shaving of their heads, and even instances of physical abuse and stigmatization within their communities. The Commission emphasizes that both male and female youth are falling prey to this perilous drug, underscoring the urgency of the situation.
Coming from that perspective of protecting and promoting human rights of all, and in this case, it has to do really with the right to life and the right to health. But even in addition to that, many of these young people should be actually either in school, in college, or in the universities. But they are roaming along the street of Freetown in these communities, wasting their potentials away, wasting their lives away, wasting their future away.
In response to this crisis, the Human Rights Commission has put forth a series of recommendations aimed at mitigating the devastating impact of Kush abuse.
So we have called upon the government through this press statement to say that the president must immediately declare a public health emergency. We cannot wait for our young people to die in thousands before we want to do something. So that is the first thing we have done. And this is backed by Section 29 of the Constitution. It's very clear that the government or the president, in his opinion, if he thinks that a state of emergency or a state exists where, if not addressed immediately, there will be some calamity. Mark you, the commission has power. We have the statutory obligation to advise government on human rights issues, and we have seen what Kush is doing. It is affecting the right to life. It is affecting the right to health. It is affecting the right to education. So that is why we are advising government through this press statement for the president to take a proactive measure. We have called upon the security sector, the immigration departments, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the National Revenue Authority, NRA, all of them. We have told them, we have called upon them to ensure that they deepen security in our border areas, because we all know in this country that our borders are really porous, and so we have to take drastic steps to ensuring that we stop those or prevent people from bringing in the Kush. That is really ravaging the lives of our young people. So that is another recommendation that we have made, and we have also called upon government through the Ministry of Social Welfare and also NACSA to be able to identify those areas we call hotspot areas, and also to ensure that they build rehabilitation centers. When you have rehabilitation centers in this kind of situation, you give an opportunity for the young people to be able to, to recalibrate. You take them to those centers, and then they are able to give them the kind of psychosocial treatments. They are able to give them the relevant treatment that will actually ensure that they are able to come back to life and come back to these communities where they belong. They are able to be integrated into these communities.
As Sierra Leone grapples with the scourge of Kush abuse, the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone's recommendations serve as a clarion call for concerted action to protect the nation's youth and safeguard their future. We will continue to delve deeper into this critical issue and explore the implications for our society. Elizabeth Momo, AYV News, Freetown.
Sierra Leone has been ranked as the 4th unhappiest country among 143 countries in the world. The World Happiness Report is published by the Wellbeing Research Center at the University of Oxford in the United Kingdom. Now, to know what Sierra Leoneans make up of this report, our reporter Hannah Yangsin was out on the streets to gauge the views of some citizens, and now reports.
Every year, the world celebrates Happiness Day, during which a report of some of the unhappiest countries are published by the Wellbeing Research Center at the University of Oxford in the United Kingdom. In 2023, Sierra Leone was ranked the 3rd unhappiest country in the world, placed 135 out of 137 countries. With a one-step leap, the country moved from 3rd to 4th in the 2024 ranking, being placed 140 out of 143 countries. The World Unhappiness Report is based on life evaluation, has the most stable measure of the quality of people's lives. Gauging the views of citizens on the report, which they seem to agree to, high cost of living ignited by inflation and the current drug crisis were some of the factors mentioned that support the ranking.
The cost of living is very high in the country, and if you think of buying something in the market and you can't afford it, can be stressful. Young people are now taking Kush and other harmful drugs because they don't have a job. For me, I believe that Sierra Leone deserves to take the first position as the unhappiest country in the world because we are not happy.
Sierra Leone is the unhappiest country because happiness has to do with the mind, and people are not mentally happy. Lots are involved in taking drugs because of their unhappy states. We are economically disturbed as a country, and for the fact that things are not going the way we want, we can never be happy.
While some agree with the report, others say the fact the country is peaceful indicates semblance of happiness.
Peace is something that is expensive, and Sierra Leone can boast of it. Other countries are challenged with kidnapping, but here you can go out peacefully without thinking about that. Our country is also religious tolerance, and we are also blessed as a nation. Peace brings happiness, and hence we are peaceful. Then this is a happy country.
With such a report, Sierra Leoneans are calling on the government to improve the country's economy, which they pointed as the primary factor for unhappiness. Anna Yankson, AYV News, Freetown.
Professor Dr. Mohamed Samai, Deputy Vice Chancellor at Commerce, has announced that next academic year enrollment into the medicine program will require an aggregate of 15 for Pre-Med 1 and an aggregate of 10 for Pre-Med 2. Professor Samai stated that this change in the curriculum is aimed at meeting the sub-region's requirement of aggregate 7. He was addressing students at the matriculation of 1,450 students at Commerce. Emmanuel Bauer reports.
The revision of the curriculum at Commerce, particularly for the medicine program, aims to meet the sub-region's requirement of aggregate 7. Changes in the curriculum for Pre-Med 1 and 2 students will take effect from the next academic year. Professor Dr. Mohamed Samai, Deputy Vice Chancellor at Commerce, emphasizes the importance of the revision of the curriculum.
But then let me say that although our requirement into medicine and nursing and the other programs is still very high compared to the other programs, but if you compare it to the sub-region, our requirement is also very, very low. In the sub-region to enroll for medicine, the requirement is aggregate 7. So now for medicine, moving forward, effective next academic year, once that goes through the system, we've done our bit as a college. Once that goes through the system, Pre-Med 1 requirement now stands at aggregate 15, and Pre-Med 2 requirement starts at aggregate 10.
Professor Samai further discusses alternative plans for students at the pre-med levels who may not meet the requirements for the medicine program at Commerce.
For you to move from Pre-Med 1 to Pre-Med 2, you have to have an average of 55%. In the university, the pass rate is 40%. So what we intend doing is that at the end, those who will not meet the 55%, they will have to go to Kobe College and do the sciences. So all of this, we don't want to kill the sciences.
Professor Iyalebi, the acting Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Sierra Leone, pledges his support to the Commerce Administration.
Mr. Deputy Vice Chancellor, please, I want you to engage me to make sure we move this college, because I see so much promise here. Just looking at the faces of these students seated here, so young, it gives me a pleasure to be part of this institution.
Prospective medical doctors and nurses anticipate effective lectures as they prepare for the challenges ahead.
I'm expecting the lecturers to do good, to teach us, always frequent in class.
I'm expecting the lecturers to lay emphasis and to put more zeal on the medical side, so that we, the students in the medical, will be so serious, and in order for us to represent them if they are retired tomorrow.
The curriculum changes aim to enhance the learning outcome of medical students, thereby producing competent medical professionals in the country and beyond. Emmanuel Boa, AYV News, Freetown.
This is Primetime News on AYV TV and radio. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.